Hi guys, welcome back. Still under algebraic processes, so we're moving on to linear equations. Now, before we do that, what's an equation? An equation is a mathematical statement or more than one mathematical statement that has an equality sign because the left hand side has to be equal to the right hand side for you to have an equation. You have a statement on the left, you have a statement on the right. Now the equality sign makes it an equation. So if you see something like this, 2x plus 5, this is called a mathematical expression or just an expression or a mathematical statement. Now the moment I equate this to 8, this automatically becomes a mathematical equation. 2x plus 5 is a mathematical expression or statement. 8 is a mathematical expression or statement. Now equating them makes this guy an equation. Now, equations can be divided into different types. Depending on the powers, you have linear equation, you have quadratic equation in which the highest power is 2, you have cubic, highest power is 3, you have raised to the power of 4, raised to the power of 5. We now call them polynomials. From quadratic upwards, you can call them polynomials. That means more than one power. Then you have, depending on the numbers of equation, depending on the numbers of equation, we have what we call normal simple equation and we have what we call simultaneous equation. That is solving more than one equation at a particular time makes it simultaneous. And for a simultaneous equation, it can be linear, it can be quadratic, it can be linear and quadratic as the case may be. Now we are solving linear equation. For linear equation, you always have a unique value. That means you can only have one value. So if I'm to solve 2x plus 5 to be equal to 8, it means I'm looking for that value of x that if I put here, when I add it to 5, it should give me 8. And I believe that value is 3 over 2, which is 1.5. So it's only when you put a 1.5 here, that will give us 3 plus 5. That's what will give us 8. No other value can be inserted here to give us 8. So that's that for that. Now the rules guiding equations generally is whatever you do to the left hand side, do to the right hand side. It means if you are changing what the left hand side is, whatever you use in changing that left hand side, use that same thing to change the right hand side. So you have a statement like this. A is equal to b. The moment you want to change this a to something else, that is, let's say a plus x, because you are adding x to the left hand side, you must also add x to the right hand side to make sure that this equation remains intact. When you add x here and you add y here, this guy no longer becomes an equation. This cannot be equal to b plus y, because if a is equal to b, a plus x should be equal to b plus x. So when you are adding to the left hand side, you must add to the right hand side the same value. When you subtract from the left hand side, subtract from the right hand side the same value. When you multiply by the left hand side, or when you multiply the left hand side by a number, multiply the right hand side by the same number. When you divide the left hand side by a number, divide the right hand side by the same number. That's the rule. So once you know that rule, I believe there's nothing in the equation that should be a problem. When you find the square root of the left hand side, look for the square root of the right hand side. When you square the left hand side, square the right hand side. Whatever you do to the left hand side, do exactly the same thing to the right hand side. So I'm going to be solving this question step by step, telling you what I'm doing in each step so that you understand how you solve equations. Now let's start with the very first question. What we have here is 3x minus 5 is equal to 8 plus 11x. So what do we say we do here? We collect like terms. Now in order to collect like terms, you are simply altering what is happening to the left hand side. Now some of you, or most of us, will say remove 11x from here, take it here to turn to a negative 11x. Remove minus 5 from here, take it here to turn to a positive 5. You are not removing anything from anywhere. You are simply adding and subtracting from both sides. So if I want a situation whereby my x remain on the left hand side and my constant remain on the right hand side, so this is what I will do. I will subtract 11x from both sides. Why am I subtracting 11x from both sides? Because I want to collect my like terms for x to be on the left hand side. So if I subtract 11x from here, this guy automatically becomes 0. I'll be having something like this: 3x minus 5 minus 11x is equal to 8 plus 11x minus 11x. So I've subtracted 11x from both sides. So my equation will remain the same, because if this is equal to this, removing 11x from here and removing 11x from here, I have not changed anything. So this will now become 3x minus 11x minus 5, and this will become 8. So you see, I move this to the other side and it changed to negative sign. So I simply subtracted 11x from both sides. Now what is 3x minus 11x? This will give us a negative 8x. Negative 8x, negative 5 is equal to 8. Now, collecting like terms too, you say remove minus 5 from here, it will come here as a positive 5. So what exactly are we doing there? We are simply adding 5 to both sides. Add 5 to both sides, because I don't want constant to be on the left hand side. So if I add 5 to both sides, this side you are going to have a negative 8x, negative 5 plus 5 is equal to 8 plus 5. Now negative 5 plus 5 should be equal to 0. So what I have here is simply negative 8x. 8 plus 5 should be equal to 13, if I'm not mistaken. 8 plus 5 is equal to 13. Now we are looking for x. Now to make x stand on its own, I will have to get rid of minus 8, and there's only one way I can get rid of minus 8 is by dividing here by minus 8. And whatever I do to the left hand side, you must do to the right hand side. If I divide here by minus 8, I should also divide here by minus 8. So I can say divide both sides by minus 8. So this will give me negative 8x all over negative 8 is equal to 13 all over negative 8. Negative 8 cancel negative 8, I'm left with x. Now 13 over negative 8, to note that a over minus b is the same thing as minus a over b. I have not changed anything. So this is the same thing as minus 13 over 8. So that is the answer to the question. Now there's one thing I like so much about equation is that you can always check if your answer is correct. So it might be that during the course of solving, I got too excited or I got too tired, so I made a mistake and my answer is not correct. I want to check if my answer is correct. So how do I check? If I put that value of x that I've got in here, my left hand side should be equal to my right hand side. Put that value of x on the left hand side, put that value of x on the right hand side. Your left hand side should be equal to the right hand side. So let's do that together. 3x is 3 multiplied by minus 13 over 8. 3 multiplied minus 13 over 8. We are solving for the left hand side, minus 5. This times this will give us minus 39 over 8 minus 5. LCM is 8. This will give me minus 39 minus 8. 1 into 8 is 8. 8 times 5 is 40. So my answer here should be minus 79 over 8. Minus 79 over 8. That's for the left hand side. Now let's check if it will be the same with the right hand side. For the right hand side, I will have 8 plus 11 multiplied minus 13 over 8. So that is 8 minus 13 times 11, that is 143. 143 over 8. LCM is 8. 1 into 8, 8 times 8, 64 minus 143. Now 64 minus 143, I can do 143 minus 64 and add a negative sign because this is smaller than this. So this is 9. 30 minus 6. That should give us 7. So this will give us a minus 79 over 8. So you can see when I substituted my value of x on the left hand side and to the right hand side, my answer remains the same. But since my left hand side is equal to the right hand side, so the answer we got is very correct. Now let's move on to the next question. Next question, 2 over 3x plus 1 is equal to 8. So I'm going to solve this in two ways. So pay attention. 2 over 3x plus 1 is equal to 8. So whenever you see something like this is the same thing as 2 over 3 multiplied by x. So note that your x is always at the numerator. Note that your x is always at the numerator, unless it was given to you as 2 all over 3x. That is the only way your x will be at the denominator. So if you have 5 over 7 and you have an x here, this x is always at the numerator and not the denominator. So what is one way of solving this question? Collect like terms. And how do you collect like terms? Move one away from here to the other side. That means subtract 1 from both sides. So I'll write subtract 1 from both sides. So left hand side, I'll be having a 2 over 3, 2x over 3 plus 1 minus 1. Here I'll be having a 8 minus 1. So this will be 2x over 3 is equal to 7. Now to make x stand on its own, I must multiply the left hand side by 3 over 2. I must multiply the left hand side by 3 over 2. Or you can do it step by step. First of all, say multiply both sides by 3, then divide both sides by 2. Multiplying by 3 and dividing by 2 is the same thing as multiplying by 3 over 2. So I'll write here multiply both sides by 3 over 2. Because if I multiply this left hand side by 3 over 2, this guy will turn to 1. So I must multiply the right hand side by the same 3 over 2. 2 cancel 2, 3 cancel 3. So this is x is equal to 7 times 3, 21 all over 2. So this will give us 10.5. Or 10 whole number 1 over 2. So that's the answer to that question. Like I said, let's solve another way. So the other way of solving is actually very helpful when solving questions that has to do with fraction. And what do? Once you have something like this, once you have a fraction, multiply through by the LCM of the denominator. Multiply through by the LCM of the denominator. Now we all know that the denominator here is 3. So let's introduce denominator to all of them. I believe you know that the denominator for this guy is 1 and for this guy is also 1, but let's just put it down. So this will be 2x over 3 plus 1 over 1 is equal to 8 over 1. I can say multiply both sides by 3. Why am I multiplying both sides by 3? Because I'm 100% sure that the LCM of 3, 1 and 1 is 3. So suppose I was having a 2 here or a 7 here. Suppose I was having a 7 here, the LCM becomes what? 21. So I'll multiply through by 21. So now that I've done that, it means that 3 will multiply the left hand side, which is 2x over 3 plus 1, and 3 will also multiply the right hand side. So 3 multiplying 2x over 3, 3 cancel 3, we'll be left with 2x plus 3 multiplying 1, this will give us 3. I believe by now we know how to expand, is equal to 24. Now collect like terms, that means subtract 3 from both sides. Subtract 3 from both sides. So this will give us 2x plus 3 minus 3 is equal to 24 minus 3. So here you'll be having a 2x is equal to 21. X is equal to 10.5 when I divide both sides by 2, which we've done here already. So now you've seen that all what we do in equation is add to both sides, subtract from both sides, divide and multiply. So when I'm solving the next set of questions, I won't be writing subtract this, multiply this, so that we can be fast about it. Okay, next question. Next question, we are given 0.25x plus 1.8 is equal to 1.3. Now, first thing first, collect like terms. So let's subtract 1.8 from both sides. Subtract 1.8 from both sides. So left hand side, I'll be having 0.25x is equal to 1.3 minus 1.8. 0.25x is equal to negative 0.5. Now I can divide both sides by 0.25. So I can divide both sides by 0.25, or you can use the other approach. Since some of you or some of us don't know how to work with decimal, let's make this guy to be a whole number. So to make this guy to be a whole number, I have to multiply this guy by 100, because 100 should be 1, 2. I'll say multiply both sides by 100. Multiply both sides by 100. Remember, whatever you do to the left hand side, you must do to the right hand side. If I multiply here by 100, that's 0.25x times 100. I must multiply minus 0.5 by 100. So this will give us 25x is equal to minus 50. I think it makes more sense now. Divide both sides by 25. X is equal to negative 50 over 25. 25 here 1, 25 here minus 2. So the answer is minus 2. Put your minus 2 here. This will give you a 0, a negative 0.5. Negative 0.5 plus 1.8 will give you a positive 1.3. So our answer is very correct. Now over to the next question. Let me wipe this part. I think I'm getting tired. All right, over to the next question. We are given 2x minus 7.2 is equal to 4x minus 5.4. Now collect like terms. So to collect like terms, it means I'm going to subtract 4x from both sides and add 7.2 to both sides. I believe you all understand what we are doing. Subtract 4x from both sides. So 4x will come here as negative 4x. Add 7.2 to both sides. So 7.2 will come here as positive 7.2. So this is 2x minus 4x is equal to minus 5.4 plus 7.2. Now 2x minus 4x is negative 2x minus 5.4 plus 7.2. That's 7.2 minus 5.4. You have 8. 6 minus 5 is 1. That is 1.8. 2, carry 1, 6, 7. Okay, that's very correct. Now divide both sides by negative 2. X will be negative 0.6. 2 into 1 is 0. Sorry, negative 0.9. 2 into 1 is 0. Carry 1. 2 into 18 is 9. So that's a negative 0.9. So you can put that here, you find out that your answer will be correct. If I put negative 0.9 here, this will give me a negative 1.8 minus 7.2. So this should give me a 9, a negative 9. So let's put the same thing here. Negative 0.9 here will give me a negative 3.6, negative 5.4. This will give me a negative 9. So my left hand side is equal to my right hand side. So the answer is very correct. Now to the next question. Over to the next question. You have 3 into 2x minus 7 is equal to 9 into x minus 5. 3 into 2x minus 7 is equal to 9 into x minus 5. Now there are two ways to solve. You can expand, then you solve, or you can choose to divide both sides by 3 before solving. So let's solve using the two ways to create better understanding. So if I expand the left hand side, this will give me 6x minus 21. Expand the right hand side, this will give me 9x minus 45. Now collect like terms. That means subtract 9x from both sides and add 21 to both sides. Subtract 9x from both sides, add 21 to both sides. So that is 6x minus 9x is equal to negative 45 plus 21. This will give me a negative 3x and this will give me a negative 24. Divide both sides by negative 3. So x will be equal to 8. So that's the answer to the question. Now the other way of solving this, from here down to this point, I can say divide both sides by 3. Now if I divide here by 3, I'll be left with 2x minus 7 because 3 will cancel 3. If I divide here by 3, 3 will cancel 9. I'll be left with 3 into x minus 5. Now we can open the brackets. This is 2x minus 7 and this is 3x minus 15. Correct like terms. Move 3x to the other side. You have 2x minus 3x is equal to negative 15 plus 7. This will give me a negative x and this will give me a negative 8. Multiply both sides by minus 1 or divide both sides by minus 1. Your x will be equal to 8. Now next question. Next question, you have 17 minus 3x minus 5 is equal to 7. 17 minus 3x minus 5 is equal to 7. Now remember, we agreed that 17 has no business with opening this bracket. what will open this bracket is minus 1. Or you can also move your 17 to the other side even before opening the bracket. But let's just open the bracket. This will give me 17 minus 3x. That's minus 1 times 3x. Minus 1 times minus 5 will give me a positive 5. Is equal to 7. 17 plus 5 is 22. So we have 22 minus 3x is equal to 7. Now we can collect like terms. Move 22 to the other side. We have a negative 3x is equal to 7 minus 22. Now 7 minus 22 should give us a negative 15. Dividing both sides by negative 3 should give us a positive 5. So that's the answer to the question. Put 5 here. This is 15. 15 minus 5 is 10. 17 minus 10 is 7. So our answer is very correct. Now next question. You have 3x plus 2 all over 5 minus 2x plus 3 all over 3 is equal to 3. Now, this is similar to what we solved earlier where I said whenever you have more than one or whenever you have a denominator that has a fraction, multiply through by the LCM of the denominators. So the denominator here is 5, denominator here is 3, denominator here is 1. So the LCM of 5, 3, and 1 is 15. The whole essence of multiplying through by the LCM is to get rid of the denominators. You can also choose to find the LCM of this guy and solve this as fraction, then you multiply through by that value, and that value remains what? 15. So why not just use 15 to multiply from the onset? So here you will have a 15. You have a 15, open bracket, 3x plus 2 over 5 minus 2x plus 3 over 3 is equal to 3 multiplied by 15. Whatever I do to the left hand side, do to the right hand side. Now 15 will multiply this. 5 into 15 is 3. So you'll be left with 3 into 3x plus 2 minus 5 into 15 is 5. That's 5 into 2x plus 3. 15 times 3 is 45. Now if I open this bracket, this will give me 9x plus 6 minus 10x minus 15. 9x plus 6 minus 10x minus 15 is equal to 45. Now 9x minus 10x is minus x. 6 minus 15, that should be minus 9, is equal to 45. Now I can add 9 to both sides. So minus x will be equal to 45 plus 9. Minus x will be equal to 54. So x will be equal to minus 54. That means multiply both sides by minus 1 or divide both sides by minus 1. So that will give us a negative 54. Now I'm just curious to check if my answer is correct because the value looks very big. So let's check. Put negative 54 here. You have a minus 54 times 3, 2 carry 1, 15, 16. You have a negative 162 plus 2. That will give me a negative 160. Now 160 over 5. 160 over 5. 5 into 16 is 5. Sorry, is 3. Remember 1. 5 into 10 is 2. So this is a negative 32. That's for this side. So let's put our negative 54 here. 54 times 2 is 108. So I have a negative 108. Negative 108 plus 3 will give me a negative 105. Minus 105 over 3. Minus 105 over 3 will give me 3 into 10 is 3, remainder 1 into 15 is 5. So that is 35, a negative 35. So this is negative 32, negative, that is minus sign. You have minus 35. Minus times minus is plus. So minus 32 plus 35 is equal to 3. So our answer is very correct. Now over to the last question. Over to the last question. You are given x minus 4 over 2x minus 5 is equal to 1 over 4. Now, we'll do what we call cross multiplication. I believe you guys have heard of it already. A over B is equals to C over D. It's the same thing as AD is equals to BC, and we should cross multiply. However, what you simply did is to multiply both sides by b and t. No, nothing, or the word cross multiplication was just used to replace the actual thing that was done. So what was done here is you multiplied both sides by b and d, where b and d is simply the what? LCM. So the LCM of bd is b and d. So what we did here is a over b multiplying bd, and for the other side you have c over d multiplying the same bd. B will cancel b, so you'll be having ad in this form. Also, D will cancel D, you'll be having what? CB, which is BC in this form. So cross multiplication is obeying the same rules that have been exaggerating about, or that I've been talking about since, which is whatever you do to the left hand side, do to the right hand side. Okay, so this will give me cross multiply 4x minus 16 is equal to 2x minus 5. 4x minus 2x is 2x. Minus 16 will come here as positive 16. And we add 16 to both sides. 16 minus 5 is equal to 11. So this will give us 2x is equal to 11. So my x here is simply equal to 5.5, which is 11 over 2. Now that's that for linear equations. So that's how you tackle linear equations. It can also come in front of word problems. So we'll be looking at word problem questions. We'll start taking questions on all the topic based on your Jamb exam, Waec or Neco exam. Now next video we'll move on to quadratic equation. Those are equations whose highest unknown has a power of 2, or whose unknowns have highest power of 2. So thanks for watching. If you find this video to be helpful, use the like button, use the subscribe button, also use the share button. If there's any error in what we did, leave that in the comment section. And if there's any question you wish to ask, also leave that in the comment section. Thanks for watching once more. See you guys in my next video.